Down by the station. New siesta. New vacation. Nowadays, most independent city-states have been swallowed up by larger powers or are on the brink of extinction. But Siesta is a unique example, a relic of the past embedded in the long southern coastline. It serves as an excellent case study in modern city-states. Terra, a journey. Whoops, I got it wrong again. All right, this time from the top. 1, 2, 3. 5,000, 761, 5,762. Also, didn't a few end up in Lithuanian? Well, whatever. Let them have their fun. It's about time those tall, ancient goatee-shaped buildings got shaken up a bit, along with those people whose expressions are as crusty as their music. Time is precious. Or at least it is for them. If they can't concoct something new and exciting within the limited time they have, then I'm gonna be stuck here enduring years of stagnation and emptiness, damn it. Times like these make me miss the days when I was getting chased around by those long-haired, sharp-fanged folk. But now, they seem to have invented a new game to play in Syracuse. They don't feel like playing with me anymore. I should also find something fun to do. The world is so full of twists and turns, and to exist means exist means to change. Yet, why do so many people find themselves in trouble because of these all too commonplace occurrences? Just like building a house, it'll always go higher today than it was yesterday. Yet despite that, there are always people who want to go backwards and tear down the old parts. Seriously. Spare me already. If only these fragile and brief lives could last a bit longer, they would have the same wealth and wisdom as I. They would understand existence. Or at least, the purpose of existing. I suppose only a few might be able to comprehend this truth. Just like that song. How'd it go again? The tune went something like, la la la. Damn. Forgot again. Hello? You again? I've seen your face more than once recently. The volcano is about to blow, so turn yourself around and don't go any further. How many times do I have to tell you? There's nothing good about those black rocks over there. So why? Forget it. They can't hear me until I get right up in their face. Isn't that a pain? Well, best not to get too caught up in their lives anyways. Hope luck's on his side. Now where was I with my counting? Set out at 17 in search for a home, still wandering today. Showed a foul beast away, asked the adventurer for aid. Trade treasures with a caravan, only to be left behind halfway. I remember everyone I met, and give them a special name. So no need to send me letters. No need for that, I say. Unless you find yourself like me, on some desolate road astray. Sorry, I'm not a singer. Not bad. That was a pretty popular tune 20 years ago. Thanks for the compliment. I hope this old-fashioned song didn't hurt your business. That joke's not one bit funny. Take a look around us. Not a single tourist to be seen. The volcano drove away the Siestans, and the sun drove away the noisy tourists. All that's left is the leisure summer I hadn't experienced in years. and a carefree happiness that's about to go bottoms up. I assume you missed when Siesta was packed with tourists just a few years ago. Who gets hung up on cash? What I miss is when people had an artistic appreciation for rock and roll. What people had back then was time and money, so they could just sit down and talk about music and art in the abstract. Their heads full of imagination for a fanciful future. It's just like they say, if you want to do art, you gotta fill your stomach first. The golden age of rock and roll is past. Too many youngsters these days think the spirit of rock and roll is restless beats and electronic reverb. The louder the better. But they forget the very beginning, when the longing for a kind of beauty that existed only in fantasy was a part of the heart of rock and roll. Just like what you were playing before. I really dig those clean, elegant chords. It sounds like you know a lot about music. Do you play any instruments? Bass and accordion. Very trendy. Play me another song, young lady. That last drink of yours is on me. Thanks for the generosity. Now I hope you don't mind if I charge a little extra for this next song. How does a story sound? Ha! The old way of driving a bargain, huh? Young lady, where do you come from and what should I call you? Beard? Bird? Bird. We're going to act like I said bird. A bird from Colombia. A Colombian, huh? I thought every Colombian was like a sand beast digging around in the wastelands, pouring all this time and effort into that place. Just like my parents were. I'm also a pioneer. Just a pioneer of the spirit. I want to see for myself what the Colombians of old saw when they came to this coast, and why they decided to settle here. Then you're probably too late. That part of the coast has been abandoned at the foot of the volcano. What difference is there between this city built on a nomadic plate and a place like Colombia or Victoria? What can we do about it? What the land gives, the land can also take away. Which is why I'd love to hear the stories here and get a glimpse into the past. Alright, then. Let me tell you a story of how these stubborn people tried to move their volcanic hot springs and Seaside's fashion street to their new home, even after leaving the coastline. Ugh. How did all the stuff I set up just fall over again? Not sure if it's heat stroke or what, but the last couple of days I've been seeing some strange shadows circling around my eyes. Hey, young man, put all that work aside and come for a drink. Don't you hear the sun telling us it's a great day to kick back and relax? Oh, wait a sec. I think I recognize you. You're the new young boss of the newly opened trading company, aren't you? I bet you're planning to demolish the street, huh? Sir, this is just urban planning. We'll work hard to get everyone's consent, and we'll try our best to minimize the impact on your lives. I'm sure we can smooth over any conflicts that might arise. What is there to smooth over? If Herman wants to start a new business, he'll have to take apart our homes. If I was a few decades younger, I'd think about throwing a brick through his window. But the years really take a toll on you, and I don't have the energy anymore. So whatever. Do what you must. Excuse me, Commissioner Swire. Snowson, you don't need to call me that out here. Besides, my appointment as commissioner hasn't been announced yet. Why does it feel like the people around me are more anxious about it than I am? Sorry, I've never been on a vacation like this before. Can I really buy so many things at a discount with this coupon? I was just picking up a year's supply of laundry detergent at the supermarket downstairs when I drew this. How is it possible? There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? Wait, I heard there were some kind of scams out there disguised as coupons just like these. It's probably Siesta's new marketing strategy now. After leaving behind the old natural environment, the place needs some new ways of attracting tourists. Mountain Dash Logistics has formed a public-private partnership with Siesta, and they're also the ones who issued the coupons you've got there. Oh, and the company belongs to that Bison guy. I think you already know of him. If you find any false or misleading info on the coupons, the LGD will be knocking on his door. Right now, the two of us are elegant foreign tourists who just got back from a luxury mall shopping spree and are sorting through their spoils. Snowsong, can you hand me the perfume I just bought? And also a smaller screwdriver? Yes, ma'am. Right away. What are you doing, Miss Swire? Please, keep your eyes on the road when you're driving. A citrus-toned perfume should perfectly complement the sunset here. Say, the perfume we were staring at before is in that pink bag right there. Why don't you open up and give it a smell? I think the floral tones will suit you perfectly. What? No way, that's too expensive. How could I ever... Don't stand on ceremony. It's not easy to find a good traveling companion. And there might be some things I need your help with later on. Mind passing me the trumpet screwdriver again? Wait, is she doing this while driving? You sure did a good job keeping it hidden. What's that? A tracker with some wiretapping capabilities. A previous generation product that the LGD phased out. Didn't we come here to go on vacation? What are we going to do now? Don't you worry. This kind of stuff is easier than finding matching eyeshadow for me. So, what do you think, Snowsong? Do you like the perfume? Yes, it smells great. Then, we're all set. Swire turns around, picks up her terminal, and enters a string of codes. The tracker that has just been disassembled, starts flashing in vain in the palm of its intended target. After 3 busy signals, the person on the other side takes the call. Hello? Yeah, I've already arrived in Siesta. Found some trash in the car though. Looks like they're really taking us seriously. No need to worry yourself over this. If anything, why don't we check if there aren't any surprises on your end? By the way, since we're drawing this much attention as it is, we might need to meet up in advance. Whew. Looks like I'm getting pretty good at picking out our gifts. I'm sure they'll really enjoy this one too. Huh? Snowsong, we're getting out of the car. If someone sends us a gift, of course we have to return the favor. See that truck stopped at the red light? Soon the tracker is going to be following it all around Siesta. We still have a good chunk of morning to enjoy the sunshine and Siesta before they realize something's wrong. Huh? How can you be so calm even though we're being tailed? Do we need to completely change our appearance? Get a head-to-toe makeover? Stick to large crowds? I don't think we should let any of these minor inconveniences get in the way of our vacation. After all, it's not every day we come to Siesta, and enjoying our trip takes top priority. Actually, when I was studying in Colombia, I always wanted to see Siesta, but never had the time or money. I heard that when Siesta relocated, they used a special method to bring the volcano along with them. But that sounds kind of crazy. Is the engineering technology here so advanced that they can build their own artificial mini volcanoes? I assume bringing the volcano with them is just a poetic expression. So you look over there. Flashbang. In the midst of the low-rise buildings, taller buildings of various heights vaguely form the shape of a volcano. People driving along the road somewhat resemble climbers at the foot of the mountain, gazing up at the summit. There really is a volcano in the middle of the city. Skyscrapers stand high in the steam from hot springs all over the city. It feels just like a real volcano. It goes without saying that you can't just pick up a volcano. But when new Siesta was being built, the buildings in the city center were designed to resemble a volcano. You can say it's a way of paying homage to the past. No matter where you go, the people always get hung up on this kind of stuff. The city's past carries on its new home in another form. Let me see. The place where I'm supposed to meet that city hall guy should be right over here. Give me a minute. Will someone be coming to pick us up? We're not going to have to walk there ourselves? I even brought 2 extra buns and ate them this morning to make sure I would have the energy. Whew. Finally managed to finish unloading the delivery. I might be able to make it in time for my afternoon shift at the post office. After that, I should have enough time to pick up the 2 passengers in front of the city. Then I need to remember to fix up the lights in Rachel's grocery store tonight. Hopefully that'll be enough to pay off my bills in cash this time. I don't have much time left. Need to hurry up. Well, you sure seem to be in a hurry. Miss Swire, what are you looking at? Oh, sorry, I wasn't watching where I was going. You're not hurt, are you? Owie. Oh, I think I'm fine. Oh, right. That's the guy. Huh? That's our driver from City Hall. I beg your pardon. If you're joking around, please don't. I have a ton of work to do and don't have time for that. Not a word. Hands over a wad of cash. Yes. I am. See, I told you someone would be coming to get us. I think this is a delivery truck for transporting goods. When I was in the Solus last time, I was riding around in a heavy boat on land. Just go with the flow. No, screw that. I need to get back to my next job. So please. Hands over another wad of cash. This is your deposit. I've booked your afternoon as well as your vehicle. Now I'll have you take us around. By all means, welcome aboard. Money really does talk, huh? Must be nice being Swire. After several failed attempts to ignite the truck, the man slaps its dashboard vigorously and fiddles with the blinking buttons. Miss Swire? Miss Swire? This vehicle seems to have been modified aftermarket and is well beyond its normal service life. I really don't know if we can trust this guy. What are you talking about? I'm no worse at souping up cars than any repair shop. And I do it at the fraction of the cost. By the way, my name's... I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm going to say Enos for now until I figure it out. Alright, Enos. Now it's time for you to prove your skills. Hurry up and start the truck. The old pickup truck resembles an aged burden beast. Its color faded beyond recognition. After a few heavy gasps, the engine finally sputters to life, carrying the 3 young people into the distance. Hello? I'm here. No sign of her. The big investor from Lungman. Yes, I know. She's a very important guest. I'll keep waiting. I hate my job. Yep, typical government employee. I feel you, bro. Adele, did you know that the delicate little lines on these rocks contain traces of the Earth's respiration across tens of thousands of years? The continent is not rigid or unchanging. She moves, thinks, and even has emotions at all times. Beneath her tough skin, she also has a burning hot heart. We barely know anything about ourselves, and even less about the very land that has nurtured us. But we do have ways of interpreting the language of the earth, to know our land, to communicate with her. As long as you listen carefully, she will reveal to you the wisdom hidden away from human eyes, as well as the secrets about ourselves. What do you think? Isn't that a magical, wonderful thing? Adele, don't you want to get to know her better? A protective suit used for volcanic expeditions is quietly displayed in the exhibition hall, every crease clearly visible beneath the light. It is adorned by cracks and scorch marks, an observable testimony to its past. It appears rather old, its outline roughly tracing the figure of its owner. It is a figure very familiar to the girl. How many times had she rushed home to gently knock on the door late in the night, without having time to change out of her city clothes? Adele, I'm home. I still remember that time when me, Kadia, and Magna climbed the red volcano. It should have been safe, but a piece of the lava flowing across the ground suddenly splashed out, burning through Magna's sleeve and almost leaving a permanent scar on her arm. We were all terribly frightened. Kadia was up in arms after that, committed to improving the quality of the volcano expedition team's protective gear, but Magna happily treated the whole thing as a story of her good luck, and then went around telling others. She was always so optimistic, stopping at nothing to achieve the goals that she set. She was so brave it was almost scary. But she'd always make it happen, and it lulled us into thinking that luck would always be on her side. Up until that accident. Adele doesn't speak. She extends her hand carefully. The moment her fingertips make contact with the display case's glass, she quickly pulls her hand back, as if she had been burned. The clothes that were supposed to represent her memories are now hanging in the exhibition hall, a thick and heavy layer of transparent glass, separating them from the hands that wish to touch them. Adele. Long time no see. Yes, it's been a while, Professor Keller. I never knew they left anything like this behind. After the Mount Una accident, I found a suit in the warehouse of my research lab at William University in Lithuanian. I was going to send it to you along with the rest of their belongings, but a bit of selfishness kicked in. I wanted to preserve something in their memory. I should have consulted you beforehand. If you don't want it here, you're more than welcome to take it with you. You are my parents' best friend. You worked together for so many years. This suit is part of your shared memories. It makes sense to leave this here as an exhibit. Those who have left us aren't coming back, preserving their memories so that others may learn of what happened, of what they accomplished might be the last thing we can do for them. Adele looks over at the older scholar beside her, showing no emotion on her dainty features, as if the topic of their conversation was something far, far away from her. The life story of the suit's owner is written on a plaque in the corner of the exhibit glass. The solemn, cold words recount a tale all too familiar, and the numbers written front and center seem almost surreal. Kadia Namen, 1050, 1 to 1095. Magna Namen, 1053 to 1095. The light overhead blazes, making it somewhat hot, just like how the heat of lava passes through a protective insulation layer and transfers into the skin. The reflection off the glass pierces her eyes, and she feels a spell of dizziness. Adele? I'm fine. I haven't heard from you since Muti and Vati passed away. Are you no longer involved in volcano research? Magna and Kadias and I spent more than a decade on those volcanoes, but I'm not as strong as them. I have no choice but to stop. This museum is probably the last thing I can do in the name of volcanic research. I think I remember you were Siestan. Yeah, last year. Herman invited me back to Siesta to build this museum. For us Siestans, the volcano was always more than just a disaster that forced us to leave our homes. It's also a memory of the past. The volcano and the city have always been closely connected. It is not just the objective environment that can bring people together, but memories as well. That's from the preface of the university's general curriculum textbook, Geology and the History of City-States. I see this as an opportunity. I hope this museum can become a place that not only carries the hope of Siesta, but also showcases the accomplishments of many volcanologists. While I was researching Mount Siesta, I happened upon a recommendation report you wrote 2 years ago. Perhaps a stroke of fate. And now Mount Siesta is about to erupt. So I'd like to invite you to complete this observation with me, as well as finishing setting up the museum. When the museum was first established, I collected a lot of information related to volcanic geology and need someone to help me compile all of it into a book. It would be my pleasure, Professor Keller. As soon as you get away from the heart of the city, the whole place seems completely different. I see so many shops closing down left and right. Seems like business isn't too hot these days. It didn't occur to any of us before we moved to the nomadic city. We thought the newly built hot springs and skyline swimming pools would attract lots of tourists. Last summer, a whole bunch of people excitedly opened up shops all over, but they closed down within months. I knew it. An economy heavily dominated by tourism is highly susceptible to changes in external environment. Miss Swire? Miss Swire, is there something wrong with this meter? That number up there, what currency is that in? Colombian gold certificates? Or Victorian pounds? It's making my head spin. Young man, 10 gold certificates would cover the distance we just traveled back in Colombia. By all reasons, the rate should be even lower here in Siesta. We've barely just left and it's already up to 12. An extra 5 now. What? I told you before that I'll compensate you. But if you try to pull a fast one on us, I swear I'll... What are you doing with that lipstick? I'm not... What the hell is that? Okay, sorry, my bad. Alright, I tampered with the meter. It's supposed to charge an extra half cent per mile. What? You scoundrel. Half a gold certificate could have bought me 2 bags of cookies in the store back there. Come on now, you two. I skipped work to drive you ladies around. It's only fair you give me a little bonus, isn't it? Swire turns around and takes a look in the rearview mirror. A low-key black vehicle is following behind at a distance of roughly 3 or 4 car lengths. How'd they catch up so quickly? Young man, I will pay you handsomely. But you've got to listen to me. Drive a bit faster, lose that car behind us. Head somewhere crowded, the busier the better. Who exactly are you two? I'm just trying to do a little side hustle here. I don't want any trouble. Well, I have no idea what this is about either. We're just a couple of tourists visiting Siesta, and haven't the foggiest why these shady people have been after us ever since we arrived. Maybe they're after our wallets. But we don't know our way around this place, and it's awfully frightening. Miss Swire, you were threatening this gentleman with violence just a moment ago. Siesta's tourism industry is already in shambles as it is. Why would anyone be doing stuff like this? Let me assure you, the two of you. At its heart, Siesta is still a tourist city with simple folk customs and beautiful scenery. Please don't go around spreading a negative impression of our city after you get home. Naturally, that all depends on if we can get the kind-hearted people of Siesta to help us. Right, sure. If it's for a good and just cause, I'll do everything in my power to help. Don't you worry. Not even Colombia's greatest race car driver could catch me on these roads I use for deliveries every day. Buckle up, you two. I'm gonna step on the gas. Mr. Mayor, the Colombian representative just sent me another message and hopes to have another meeting with you in the near future. Declined for me. They said that Siesta is nominally a part of Colombia, and therefore Congress has the right to city's latest developments. Tell them to can it. We had a clear agreement when Siesta relocated. Siesta would retain the status quo with Colombia. They have no right to intervene in our internal affairs, nor do I have to report a thing to them regarding Siesta's plans. Very well. I'll forward on. And yet, you have time for a coffee with me despite your busy schedule. I'm honored. I like to set aside some time for quiet contemplation, no matter how busy my schedule is. On the other hand, I think you wouldn't have much leisure to spare, you will. The executive manager of the collaboration between Mountain Dash Logistics and Siesta is my son, nominally. I have no right to interfere with his decisions. In other words, there's nothing for you to worry about. Just treat him as you would any other business partner. That goes without saying. As things are now, Herman, do you regret taking this path? Across Siesta's history, both Victoria and Colombia have been interested in annexing us. Had we chosen to fall into the hands of either side, we would have achieved far greater stability and prosperity than today. But this would not be the same Siesta. You should be proud of what you've built, Mr. Mayor. Look, New Siesta is more than 100 miles from its previous location. If you can stand here and look east, you can just barely make out the peak of that volcano. If there was a map that could encapsulate this entire land, a line covering 100 miles wouldn't even be a finger's width, if that. But it is nevertheless possible and promising for us to connect with the various countries and city-states scattered across the land. The future proposed by Mountain Dash Logistics makes me want to believe in that. However, we all know full well that this will be a long and difficult road, starting with this present hardship that Siesta must overcome. In previous summers, Siesta streets were crowded with tourists from all over the land, and the sound of concerts could be heard from every corner. Mr. Uriel, do you know the origin of the name Siesta? It's Iberian, for afternoon nap. At the time, the Colombians wanted to develop in tandem with Siberia. Though the process was not to their satisfaction, they still ended up settling here. That's right. The pioneers arrived deep in the south and wanted to establish their first home here. Back then, the workers would get up before dawn to start working, and would take a long break around lunchtime when the sun was the strongest, until evening arrived, when people would emerge from their rooms again, drinking coffee to the sea breeze, preparing for their nightlife. I trust that this city, too, is only taking a brief nap. When it next wakes up, it will surely usher in the most beautiful sunset. Miss Swire, do we still need to take this detour? The number on the meter is already enough for a new truck. How have we not managed to shake them yet? Enos, can you go any faster? At this point, I guess I can't say no. Who could say no? To a chance to race? Do something heroic and beat back the villains? Check this out. Please slow down a little. Oh, that doesn't sound good. What was that sound? The vehicle that was tailing them before has disappeared. The delivery truck starts coughing up black smoke and skids to a halt along the side of the road. Enos pumps the brakes as hard as he clutches the steering wheel, wiping the sweat off his brow. Swire pulls Snowsont through the car door and hops out, fearing the vehicle might explode at any moment. Fortunately, the worst doesn't come to pass, and the truck finally falls silent after a few frightening whimpers. My baby! I spent 2 weeks paid of fixing her up last month, and now she's broken down again. Young man, how do you have the nerve to take this thing on the road when you can lose control just stepping on the gas? Hey, you're the one who asked me to shake them. I would never drive that fast. Mr. Enos, your face is bleeding. Ugh, I must hit my nose on the steering wheel just now. I'll go find some tissue for you. Both sides of the street are lined with Siesta's old-fashioned beachside shops. The over-the-top, extravagantly colored parasols and gravel-streaked surfboards seem like they were plucked right out of space and time from the beaches of the past, preserved as specimens, and dragged and dropped into a brand new nomadic city. You said this was supposed to be the hottest spot in all of Siesta? Did we get rid of those bad guys? Shook them off a long time ago, my young hero of justice. Come on, let's find a place to sit, and we'll talk about your truck. There should be a restaurant nearby, right? Huh? I stayed in a storefront. Long time no see, Miss Swire. I heard you'd arrived in Siesta, but the man in charge of your reception wasn't able to find you. Huh? Did you really need to rush out here to meet me in person, Bison? Or is this your way of showing me your courtesy as landlord? Let's skip the formalities, Swire. Would you give me a moment of your time? I'd like to speak with you. About 40 minutes. Yeah, sounds all right. Arknights Lord be like. I'll see y'all in the next one.